sure you guys have seen our vendors over here. I am going to have them come up, introduce themselves, and have them tell, I see you over there, have them tell a little bit about their business and what they do. So we're going to start with you, Latrice. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with Latrice from Tricey's Treats. And I have had these treats. They are definitely delicious.
Okay, so I need it. So, business cards. If you didn't bring a business card, put your name in there. We're going to get you this basket. So, I met Angelita at my very first vendor show about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. By degree, I am an engineer and an MBA. I am not a baker. I have not been to culinary school. I know the basics. A couple years ago, if you had asked me what I bake, I would tell you chicken. I did not bake. I did not make pies. Patty, that's going to be my pie for Thanksgiving because certain things I just don't do. But what happened, you'd be amazed at what you find out that you'll be able to do when you're faced with nothing. So I'd gone to school, which is why I asked about the student loans. I went to school. I have 2 master's degrees. And when 2008, 2009 hit, there were no jobs. I was literally interviewing, traveling coast to coast for 6 months, and came out of school, and the jobs that I was prepared to move to Chicago to work for Accenture, which is a consulting firm, and they called me. I got calls from AT&T and IBM telling me that the jobs that they were interviewing me for, I was at the top of the list, but they had gotten rid of the position because the market was crashing. There was a recession setting in. So I packed my bags and moved back home. There's nothing worse. There's no worse feeling in the world than having spent money, having your parents, having your family support you, and then all of a sudden you can't support yourself and you don't know what to do. So my father told me to get a hobby. I'm like, I don't want to leave the house. I want to eat, I want to watch TV, and I want to stay in the house in my Tweety Bird gown. I had no desire to leave this house. And he pretty much forced me out of the house. So I took a class at Joann's. He told me to go sew something. So I hate sewing. So my sister, hey, wave sister, that's sister, she had taken a cake decorating class at Michael's when she was in Florida. So I said, you know what, I'll take the class. And what happened was, I guess, some sort of divine intervention, because it went from having these cakes to do for class to people literally calling me saying, can you make that cake for me again? Can you make this cake? Well, can you make this flavor? And of course, me being me, no, I don't know how to make a cake. So I'll go find the grocery store and find some Pillsbury, and I can make it look like that on the outside. But don't expect some special recipe from somebody's grandmother, because my grandmother didn't pass me down any recipes for cake. I don't do that. Now, if you know somebody that can make a pound cake, have them drop it off at my house, and I will slap some icing and some flowers on there. Merry Christmas, happy birthday. So that's what happened, and it just kept going to the point that even when I left here, I found a job in Indianapolis. Everything was great. Got laid off. Had to come back home. Didn't have a job. Then my mother died that same month. So then it's like, wait a minute. Now my life is really turned upside down because I've lost my job, I've lost my income, and I've lost my mother. What are you going to do? You go back and start doing this again. Because at the end of the day, when you're faced with having nothing all over again, you have to come back to yourself to say, what can I do? Because if you don't, you will literally wither and die. Or you can, balloon out. You can eat, eat a little bit too much chicken. It happens, but you'll find yourself being unhealthy physically and mentally, which does nothing but poison everybody around you. So cake has been my way of coming back to myself when, again, there's nothing. I've learned a lot about myself. about the support of my family, because even with losing my mom, my sister and her daughter she's military, yay. So she moved back home. So last night, so literally Monday, I started a brand new job out here in Farmington, making the money I want to make. Amen. But this doesn't stop. I have to find a way. So I'll have to find a place for this still within my new life, because I know what this has done for me. So we were up till 2 o'clock this morning making that purple cake over there. There's a whole half a cake that's not even here. But what it all just comes down to is find out what works for you when nothing else works for you, because it's all going to be on you at the end of the day. So now I told y'all my business. Please go get those cupcakes, because they're not going home with me.